UK rap as a whole is dying right now. And to be specific, what I mean is that the hype around the scene and excitement for new music just isn't where it used to be. But I know how to revive it. Let's break it down.
Crossover media.
For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be focusing on how I would rebrand 3 of the largest UK rap platforms to bring them back to life. In the end, I'm going to reveal the one thing that none of these channels are doing correctly right now that's killing UK rap and the big stupid answer to fix it. This isn't just as simple as saying that UK music channels have fallen off. The harsh reality is that they don't understand we have no real incentive to give anything uploaded to their channels a chance anymore. Put simply, the faith that we once had in these platforms to put us on to the next hottest song and our next favorite artist has been replaced with even more faith in an algorithm instead. Because of that, the UK's biggest platforms are rapidly losing relevance, and UK artists would rather upload to their own channels and get less views if it means getting to keep all of the revenue. And this specifically is destroying the most special thing about the UK music scene. UK rap has a uniquely tight-knit cultural ecosystem to capitalize on, and at the center of this is what historically set the UK scene apart from the rest of the world. Ironically, this made them very protective and hesitant to fully embrace the exporting of their sound, while also hoping that their favorite artists will get to see the day that they receive more recognition. And then TikTok and Big Shaq happened, and now Central C and Pete and Baz are the face of UK rap to the rest of the world. Whether you like it or not, what I have to say about GRM Daily is gonna spoil the big stupid answer to this problem, so I'm saving them for last. But let's check out these 3 channels, and I'm gonna walk you through exactly what I would fix about them in order to revive UK rap. The reason why I chose these 3 channels specifically is because their value proposition already lies somewhere in their name. The value proposition is essentially the intersection of what you're good at, what you want people to know you for, and the gap in the market that you fill. Or in other words, what do you do better than everyone else? And once you know what your value proposition is and you can clearly communicate that, you'll start winning as soon as you fully commit and lean into it. Mixtape Madness, for example, is called Mixtape Madness, but I can't find any mixtapes that have been uploaded recently. And even if you go on their website, they don't have mixtapes anywhere here. But you know who does have mixtapes on their website? And even in the process of me scripting this video, LinkUp TV already started to implement one of the ideas I'm going to recommend later on, so hang tight for that one. But what I think Mixtape Madness should be doing is focusing on finding emerging UK talent and creating mixtapes with producers that have already started to establish themselves within the UK scene. And then what they can then do is only upload these mixtapes to the Mixtape Madness YouTube channel, so that way people start commenting, when is it going to drop on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And those comments will then generate the engagement that will help push the video to more people on YouTube. And then one way that they can test the waters with this is create a mixtape series where they have one producer at a time create a rhythm and then have all of the songs on that mixtape be features on that rhythm. And if you're not familiar with what rhythms are, it's something that started in the Caribbean where a producer will make a beat and then several people will jump on it, and then it becomes a battle of who has the best song on that rhythm. And to generate attention towards this mixtape series, what they can do is... Yeah, I wasn't supposed to say this part here, so we'll get back to the point I'm about to make at the end of the video with the big stupid answer. And once there are enough fresh new rhythms injected into the scene, Mixtape Madness can then bring back cyphers and live sets to give more exposure to both the producers of those rhythms and the MCs that are jumping on them. And in bonus points, they can even manage to pull this off with DJ AG, who has managed to generate a massive amount of attention in recent months doing things like this out in the public. And that spectacle will create even more attention directed right back towards the Mixtape Madness social media and YouTube channel where the full videos can be featured. In the middle of an era where globalization is draining the soul out of hip-hop and everyone is rapping on Jersey Club type beats to go viral on TikTok, this will be the beginning of the UK rediscovering its own musical identity that is widely embraced by the audience and doesn't just exist in carved out sections of the internet created by an algorithm. I didn't get to articulate this correctly the first time I recorded this video, but Red Bull is already implementing a lot of the ideas that I'm recommending here. They're creating live set content on YouTube, they're doing freestyles on Instagram and TikTok, and they're making their way into the scene and doing things that these platforms could have been doing. And at the end of the day, Red Bull is just a big corporation. Their bottom line is making money. So they're not doing this out of the love of the culture, but they recognize the gap in the market. And that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that these platforms need to be recognizing the gap in the market and actually addressing it instead of letting other people come in and address it who don't have any real interest in this music and in the culture of the music. But back to the video. But how would people know about these mixtapes and why would they care? As I said before, LinkUp TV's value proposition is in the name. They should be creating content that links up and connects the culture. They go out of the way specifically to highlight culture and lifestyle on the channel. So what they need to be doing is treating the platform like a content creator and not like a place to just dump videos and music. There needs to be more emphasis on their thumbnails, better titles, and all of that, and creating content that when it pops up in people's feeds, they're curious enough to want to watch it, and not just catering to people who already know who these artists are. LinkUp TV has a lot of great content on here that if you didn't just click on it and give it a chance, you wouldn't know how good it is. And that is all a fault of the fact that they don't treat their platform, again, like a content creator. They just make the videos, dump it there, and move. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about that later on as to what they could do to optimize this content a little bit better with the big stupid answer. Now, because they already have content like this LinkUp series, for example, which is really dope, it reminds me of like a throwback MTV or BET era, they could be focusing on creating collaborations with content creators, media personalities, streamers, etc., who already exist within the UK scene. Contract them to create content on the platform, reaction channels, all of that. That way, these people feel a sense of accomplishment that they're being recognized by a massive platform. You get to outsource that content and everybody's satisfied in the end. And then once you get that audience gathered around and invested enough, now let's start with the obvious fact here that GRM is the largest of all three of these platforms here, with a subscriber base that's like several UK channels combined. In theory, what that means is there's the most opportunity for visibility on GRM alone. But success on this channel kind of depends on the audience already caring about what's being uploaded. And that was really the magic of Thursdays during the pandemic. At that time, we cared about what was being uploaded. We were looking forward to seeing what the GRM premiere was gonna be. So the goal here is to get GRM back to that place where they can own discovery again and make people care about what's being uploaded to the channel. As I mentioned before, the value proposition lies in the name here, which is the very first thing I think GRM has wrong. It stands for grime and rap music, but there really isn't anything on here that really indicates that. So they need to like stop updating these banners with the thoughts and the Cully thing. First of all, you're giving whoever's managing this even more work. Nobody cares about this banner that you're uploading and changing every single week. We're not looking at this. So you might as well leave it as one thing that just stays here. Highlight the fact that you are a platform for grime and rap music. List all of the different subgenres that can be found on here. Remind people what there actually is to be discovered on GRM Daily. They don't want to see thoughts in the Cully being changed every other week if they even see it. And then that leads me to the next point, that you should be branding the thumbnails with the genre of the song. So that way, even if people don't know who the artist is, they might feel a little bit more of an incentive to click on it just because it's a grime song or because it's Afroswing, etc. So if you put that, at least people will feel some sense of identification with the artist, even if they don't know who it is. And I know that this is a good idea because whether or not this is the reason why, that's what LinkUp TV has started doing lately. They upload these grime sets and then they put the genre right here. Now, they probably may not be doing it because of that, but at least for me, when I look at it, when this pops up in my feed, I know, oh, okay, this is a grime video. Let me click on that, even if I don't know who it is. And then the next thing that GRM could do before I give you the big stupid answer lies in this GRM radio thing that they have here. They have this branding, but this really has nothing to do with radio. They call it GRM radio, but it's a bunch of live sets. What they should be doing instead is actually having a GRM radio, which could be a 24-hour live stream on the channel, or even if it's just something that happens somewhat recurring, whether it be daily, weekly, whatever it is, but a live stream where they put all the songs that they already have the rights to upload to their channel and make mixes that then play on the channel at some point with some kind of frequency. Again, if it's monthly, daily, weekly, whatever. I did a quick search and I found several websites that allow you to do exactly this without actually needing to know how to stream. Once you have all the files that are going to be seen or heard in your live stream, and you make sure that the metadata for the MP3s have the artist name, the album art, the album titles, pay $20 a month, and you have a live stream that functions as a radio just like that. If I can figure this out in a couple minutes in a quick Google search, there's no reason why GRM can't also do this. And if you're questioning whether or not this would actually work, this is a channel with a million subscribers that has 1,000 people watching at 2 a.m. in the morning while I'm editing this. So imagine GRM with its 6 million, how many people could potentially be locked into their GRM radio. And then from there, what you could do is every single time that you have a whole bunch of new songs that drop that week, pull like 30-second, 1-minute snippets or something like that and make one long video. So that way people who want to potentially discover new songs can kind of get that feeling of like old school radio. Reaction channels and other creators can sit down, stream it with their audience, and they don't have to sit through the whole new song. And then you make discovering new music a communal experience all over again. And at the bare minimum, you can have a series called GRM Radio, which is just a bunch of like 30-minute to 1-hour mixes of songs that are already on the channel. And then you can make it based on artist, region, genre, time period. There's an infinite amount of ways that you can mix up these songs. And then by doing that, what happens is when people are searching the genres, GRM will end up being one of the first platforms that pop up. And again, you generate more attention, traffic, and a sense of discovery on that channel again. Why not own that space if people are already doing those things? But the real opportunity lies in the fact that GRM has its own original content in the Daily Duppies. And that's where the big, stupid answer comes in. When you look at all of their pages, you can tell that none of these platforms have any real social media strategy. What they should be doing is asking themselves how to be more than just a YouTube channel with a TikTok account. They need to figure out how to use TikTok instead of compete with it. GRM Daily should be known not only as the place that you go for the latest and hottest in UK music, but where you can see UK artists showcase their talent. The easiest way for them to do that on TikTok is to create vertical versions of Daily Duppy videos with the punchline edits moved to the center because that already matches the culture of the app. Since horizontal videos can be uploaded to TikTok anyway, GRM can just cut up clips from Daily Duppies and post those as standalones and even create compilations of the best punchlines. YouTube analytics already show you the parts of videos that people go back and replay, so GRM can prioritize turning those sections into clips that they cut and repost. Mixtape Madness wants to position themselves as the home of the freestyles, which isn't necessarily bad, but what they should be known for is the place that you go to discover emerging UK talent and being responsible for putting them on the map. And that's basically what they were already doing, and it just so happens that their freestyles was how they did it. And since they're already so innovative with their freestyles anyway, what they should be doing moving forward is focusing on how to produce these freestyles in a way that best matches the culture of short form content on TikTok and other platforms. And this mostly just boils down to incorporating some kind of visual hook or spectacle, like the viral trend of hanging a microphone from the top of the video. Remember the idea that I had for that mixtape series that I recommended earlier in the video that I wasn't supposed to talk about? Yeah, this is what that clip was gonna be. And to generate attention towards this mixtape series, what they can do is have the producers post the beats on TikTok and then do an open verse challenge, and then that could be how they identify talent to then get the opportunity to be featured on the mixtape. And lastly, LinkUp TV needs to focus solely on being the #1 source of entertainment and personality. Their TikTok strategy has to revolve around clip farming as much as they can from their original content. With hours upon hours of footage, there's thousands of opportunities to create clips that can go viral. And with that being said, there's actually one more big stupid answer for all three of these platforms. With this rebranding and positioning, every channel brings their own unique thing to the table within a clearly defined lane and shouldn't be seen as stepping on each other or competing anymore. Instead, they need to be collaborating on how to compete with the attention that TikTok has from their audience. So for example, GRM and Mixtape Madness can collab tag content from LinkUp TV with clips from their reactions, podcasts, streams, behind the scenes, and other original content. Then we could take it up another level and GRM can collaborate with LinkUp to do IRL streams at the Rated Awards, similar to like what Kai Cenat and Drewski did at the BET Awards. All I'm saying here is that these platforms need to be thinking strategically about how they can adapt to the current social media landscape and create content that fits within that culture in order to generate attention that could then be redirected right back to their channels. And before anyone from these platforms or the industry or somebody in the comment section tries to say that it's more complicated than I make it out to be, I know it is. This is just meant to spark the conversation and show things that can be done by these platforms in order for them to reclaim their rightful spots in UK music culture. You let me know what you think. Does any of this make sense? Do these ideas sound possible? And what do you think can be done to help keep the UK music scene alive?